Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kovacs Report. It's Thursday. It's time to read the other books we didn't read yesterday. We're going to kick off with Ultimate Wolverine. We are back in the Ultimate Universe, sadly. Luckily, there's only 2 issues left of this book, but Chris Condon and Cappuccio on art. We are getting the number 12 issue, 1 whole year of this book, okay? Which means this should be pretty spectacular with only 2 issues left. So we are going to go through it page by page, which means there will be a ton of spoilers. So read it first if you want to spoil. Like the video if you can, and please do hit subscribe. I'd be very, very grateful. Now, oh boy, I've got a lot to talk about with this book. Oh boy, oh boy. So far we've had essentially 12 issues of nothing really. Let's be honest, it has a great idea at the beginning. It's been handled terribly. It has been absolutely boring with nothing really happening. And when the writer realizes that nothing's really been happening, they go for the spectacle. Oh, wow, the head's been chopped off, or something completely shocking. But at the end of that day, right, you haven't earned it. And it just feels like, oh, you've thrown that in to try and keep my attention in this boring book. Okay, and that's what's happening all the time. However, this one starts off with Wolverine in a Sentinel, which I'm laughing about, and I'll tell you why in a second. But let's focus on his first words. Déjà vu. Déjà vu. Because at this point, I genuinely believe that Chris Condon is taking the piss out of the reader. Let's jump back to issue 9. Wolverine and his buddies decided to infiltrate an enemy base, okay? It was where the doctor that messed him all up was working. Experiments are going on. They wanted to rescue some mutants, so they used it, this modified Sentinel, to infiltrate, a Trojan horse, if you will. And Wolverine leaps out of the middle of the Sentinel, claws out, you know, they fight, loads of stuff goes on, and then they retreat back to their own base. And then in issue 10, the bad guys think, well, let's go to their base. And exactly the same thing happens. Well, exactly the same thing happens. They have a big fight. The Mimasa blade comes out because, oh, it's the Mimasa blade. Wow, no one's ever done that before. Okay, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And then they all go back to their bases. Now, issue 11, okay. Oh, my God. Issue 11, after what happened in issue 10, the bad guys decide to just basically bomb the living shit out of the enemy, which they could have done, I don't know how many issues ago. They could have just done that anyway, all right? And what happens? Wolverine goes up in the Sentinel, yes, again, and leaps out of the Sentinel, but it's too late. Everyone dies apart from Wolverine. And guess what? We're back in the Sentinel again. And he's going, guess where? He's going back to one of the enemy bases. Déjà vu. Oh boy, it really, really is déjà vu. So he manages. Now, let's just backtrack, okay? I think the enemy think more or less everyone is dead, but you would still have some kind of security at one of your very, very important facilities, especially where your doctors are working, okay? The doctors that made Wolverine into the Winter Soldier, that are working on the most dangerous and most powerful mutant they have in captivity, the Phoenix specimen, of course, Jean Grey. You would still have some security, right? But no. Remember, this Sentinel, they know it was stolen. They know it was modified, and they know the bad guys have it. Yeah, he manages to just fly in, jump straight out of the Sentinel yet again, okay, fly straight down towards the enemy base where we meet the 2 doctors. Prostovich is the doctor that's really heavily responsible for Wolverine's time as the Winter Soldier, and they're having this chat, and the dialogue's really trying to force some urgency and some fear about approaching the Phoenix specimen. And it is really heavy on the, and they cut each other off because, you know, they're so worried about it. And it's really overly done. And you're like, I'm bored already, which is what this book is. It's just boring. Anyway, Wolverine manages to fly this Sentinel into enemy territory, leap out of it, and crash through the exact right window where these 2 doctors are. That is amazing accuracy, okay? Unhindered, by the way. No security, no other Sentinels about that usually go on these places. Nothing. And then he makes short work of all of them because we've got to get that shock moment early on because there's nothing else really going on with this book. The promise of the Phoenix. But let's see how they deal with the most powerful, most dangerous mutant, okay? Because you know what? That sounds really interesting, right? They've got Jean Grey in the Ultimate Universe. How are they going to deal with this? It's going to be amazing, right? No. Anyway, the fight continues, of course, and then there's the security turns up, the other Sentinel, like, finally turns up. Not much is going on, really, you know? Oh, I should probably do my job now. I've let him fly in and this guy fly out of it and crash through the window. So he turns up and, of course, Wolverine does what he's best at. And he wrecks them all, heads are getting chopped off. And then he forces Dr. Prostovich to take him to the Phoenix specimen. I'm whispering it now. And they go through there, and we get Wolverine's heavily accented dialogue. So much so that it broke the rhythm of reading it. They put so many accented commas to break words up to give him that sort of gruff, voice that he has. And it just started killing it. I was finding it difficult to read. Maybe that's just me. Eventually they get there, and she lets the doors open wide, and we see Jean Grey, the Phoenix. And she's all trussed up, as you can see, cables plugged into her. They've been using her like a Cerebo. They've been using her to control Wolverine while he was the Winter Soldier. So she knows everything that's in his brain, and she knows that, he was forced to do it as well. And this is another thing that happens. This is another thing that keeps happening in these books. These guys are doing what they're doing, and then out of absolutely nowhere, all right? No urgency anywhere else, no alarms going off, nothing. The bad guys just appear at the doorway or materialize behind them. Surprise! We're here with the bad guys. We snuck in right behind you. Wolverine, can sniff blood 1,000 yards or whatever it is. He's got those sensors. But no one saw bloody Magic and Colossus just walk in the door. They managed to walk in the door and kill the Doctor because now she's a traitor, obviously, for letting Jean go. And of course, we get the big grudge match, which they've been building up to for issue after issue, which is Colossus versus Wolverine. And we get the usual stuff, slash, punch. Oh, it looks like Wolverine's in trouble. No, he comes back just at the last second, and oh my God, they've got Wolverine. What's going to happen? Oh no, last minute save, of course, from Jean Grey, who uses her psychic powers to mess up Colossus's brain. She starts basically melting it, of course. And then we get the obligatory full-page spread, but not one full-page spread of Jean Grey. We get 2 full-page spreads of Jean Grey phoenixed out, doing what she does best, which is melting the hell out of his brain, Honestly, I thought this is a big lead-up to this character, and this is what you do. You just release her like this. This was the whole thing. He just walked in, unlock her, she gets unlocked, and off they go into the sunset to do that sort of fan service little, what if Wolverine and Jean Grey were together? Because, it's been hinted for years in the other books, and they had a kiss, and come on, this is how you deal with it. Plus, on top of that, you've had these 2 villains, one you've just killed, who have had you in captivity, plugged into this machine, abusing you, torturing you, experimenting on you. And you let her go. You let Magic go. Why are you not incinerating this bitch, right? She's supposed to be... I love Magic, by the way. But in this book, she's a baddie, right? Really baddie. Why would you let her go? Why? I wouldn't. If I was Jean Grey and I came out of that, I'd be like, right, you're going down. And I'd melt the hell out of her too. I'd blow her head up with my psychic powers. Now, off you pop. Oh, God, why? Anyway... Colossus, whose death has now been drowned out by this 2-page Phoenix reveal, he collapses to his knees and he's dead, So all of this for that feels like a massive letdown. Anyway, the lights go out, symbolic, and she falls to the ground. More symbolism. He catches her in his arms and he smiles, probably for the first time. And they walk out as the whole building starts catching light and blowing up, and they are off. To wherever the sunset. Then we get the obligatory page where we have to relate what's going on in the book to the real world. Okay, I'll leave that there because I hate bringing it up because I always get people moaning at me. But we've got that obligatory page too. It's in there. Don't worry about this. And what is even funnier is Wolverine says in this book, same shit, different day. And that is exactly what this is. It is the same shit, just a different day. We've had 4 issues of exactly the same story, pretty much, with the little shock moments in, like everyone dies, they rescue Jean Grey. It just seems so formulaic, and it even ends with the words, how's that for déjà vu? Well, I tell you what, my friend, you have delivered on déjà vu and repetition. I really do feel like I've read the same book over and over and over again. God, what's going to happen in the last 2 issues as we go into Endgame? It's beyond me, right? Like you'll say, well, no, different things happen. But have they really? Have they really? Did he deal with the Winter Soldier storyline very well? No. Did they deal with him coming out of the Winter Soldier captivity very well? No. Did they deal what happened after that very well? No. And the big reveals fall flat. And the shocks don't feel shocking. Because at this point, you're so bored that when you get this, it's not a payoff because it hasn't led up to it. It hasn't done anything. Like with Angel, when they found Angel. Quite an interesting story. Did we see Angel after that, really? Not really. Sabretooth turned up and he's saving some kids. Sabretooth went as well. So you've got all these really cool stories that could have expanded into something else, which were quickly thrown in and forgotten. These are little one-shots to me. They feel like one-shots. They do not feel like a cohesive year's worth of buying a $5 book every month to get some really interesting story. And the saddest thing about it is that you'll go onto the internet with all of these news sources and they will claim this book is absolutely game-changing. How it's so resonant, how it's so well-defined, how it's changing comics, how it's a legendary run. And it really can't be because, if it is, then I should stop reading comics because this sucks, man. This really sucks. This is Wolverine, dude. This should be one of the most exciting, visceral books in the whole Ultimate line. You get the chance to do pretty much whatever the fuck you want. One of the greatest characters created by Marvel, and this is what you do with it? Come on, another wasted opportunity. Now, I didn't mean this video to turn into a rant, but I'm so sick of it. Every news site I read tell me how amazing this book is. Am I reading the same book? I have to double take. I really have to, it's like Déjà Vu, right? I have to double take. Hold on, is it the same issue? Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The only thing that's really keeping this book above water, and I mean by a hair, is that the art's pretty nice. Cappuccio, Cappuccio's doing the best he can with the art. But God help us. God help us. What is Chris Condon doing? It's almost as bad as Amazing Spider-Man. We got 2 issues. The next one, I think, the next one starts off the whole Endgame thing as we go into that miniseries. And I think the final issue really does completely time with Endgame. God knows what's going to happen there. We've got Jean Grey now. How are they going to use her? They brought her into the mix. Maybe she does something, interesting in the Endgame miniseries. Who knows? But anyway, I'm done. Déjà Vu. There we go. Well, if you enjoy the book, I'm really, really glad you do. But honestly, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments. Always happy to hear what other people think about books. Like the video if you can. And please do hit subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it.